Hey guys, welcome to spring. I'm Matt. You're watching the 10 at 10 on the Mr. Maple Show.
Hey guys, I'm Tim. Smash that like button. We really appreciate it. Subscribe to our weekly emails. We add 10 new plants every single Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's what we're talking about today. 10 new plants. We're actually listing 20, so sign up for our weekly email so you get the heads up for the other 10.
Guys, it's March 28th of 2022. As you know, if you're a loyal viewer, we put 10 new trees on our website every single Tuesday at 10 a.m. It always fails, and I appreciate all the new people, and everybody's always explaining it. Somebody says, none of these are on the website. Hey, fret not. These are dropping at 10 a.m. Eastern. This video airs at 9 a.m. Eastern. So in 1 hour, all these items and 10 other cool plants will be hitting MrMaple.com. You can sign up for our weekly email to get the full listing of 20. These are just 10 of them, but hey, we like to showcase some cool things. So let's get it going. We've got 10 trees here on the table to talk about. And where do you want to start at? You want to start on your side?
I don't know. You want to start on your side?
How about we start with these Japanese princess back here?
Japanese princess on the 10 at 10. These are going to sell out fast, so make sure you check out really quickly. Our website doesn't hold them for you until you finish the checkout process. So you can put one in your cart and it's not held for you. Finish that checkout process and then you've got one of these saved with your name on it. So once you get that order number, you're good to go.
Guys, Japanese princess, always popular. We're bringing it back this spring. A lovely compact dwarf that has some of the best spring color for a Makawa Yetsubusa type. We recently did a podcast where we counted down the top 50 trees by Talon Buchholz. Spoiler alert, Japanese princess was our #1 favorite tree by Talon Buchholz, and that's saying a lot when you can count down 50 and you get to #1. Japanese princess is a showstopper though. It's a great plant for color, for density. It looks great in a patio planter or in the container. We list this one as only 3 to 4 feet, even in 10 years, making it one of the most compact and colorful forms of Japanese maple you can add to your garden.
As one of the very first color variants from Japanese princess, or from Makawa Yetsubusa, this one really has some of the best color, and it's very consistent color. I mean, I love Japanese princess. Right now we're getting some coral pinks. I often wonder if there's different fertilizers like phosphorus that could really brighten up some of the pink colors. I know Talon often uses a lot of that in his fertilizing systems. But this plant is just spectacular. I mean, it's really giving some really nice coral pinks right now. And this plant, it just puts on a great display of color in this early spring.
Yeah, getting these in more sun, at least early morning sun, will brighten up that pink. We have them in poly houses right now, so a little bit more of the softer pink. But get this in some sun, it'll really, really show out for the spring garden.
Yeah, one's great for containers, great for bonsai. It's going to sell out quick. I know many of you have been waiting for this to come back in stock on Mr. Maple. We've got a bunch of them, but they're going to sell it quick, so check out fast.
All right, let's start on your end after that.
All right, so next up, coming back in stock.
I'll let you hold this one.
We've got Acer palmatum, Geisha Gone Wild in 3 gallons, not just 1 gallon. We've got some good sized 3 gallons right now.
Yeah, great size plants, guys. 3-gallon Geisha Gone Wild. These are well over 3 feet, well established. As these leaf out, they're super well branched. We have trimmed them for shape right now. Excellent plant to be adding in the landscape and a great size. You guys are always asking for bigger sizes. Well, we hear you. And we've been trying to add a 3-gallon in the last few 10 at 10s. Geisha Gone Wild, always famous for that pink on red display in the spring. Hadn't quite leafed out yet. Normally our 1s leaf out a little earlier than our 3s, but an amazing spring display.
My favorite time of the season is midsummer when you get some pinks and it's starting to fade a little bit, so you get some green on the interior part of the leaf. I mean, to me, that's one of the most amazing times for Geisha Gone Wild. Again, this was one of Talon Buchholz's, when we made our top list of his top 50 Japanese maples, this one came in pretty high as well. Geisha Gone Wild gives you some amazing colors. It's a pink Japanese maple. I mean, it really gives a lot of pink color out there in the landscape. The overall color in the spring is pink, and the fall color is a bright pink red as well.
Hey Tim, what would you pair pink with?
I don't know. Maybe it's Mukiyama? It would pair really well with the summer gold, guys. You know the yellow, you pair that so well, it's going to really pop and really add a lot of color, good color contrast.
All right, guys, so next up here on the table, we have Suga canadensis Pendula. And some great sizes in these for 1s. Beautiful tree, you know, a nice little weeping hemlock. I love these for just the pendulous nature and the texture you can add to the garden with these.
Yeah, and this one, it's a weeping hemlock. I mean, the hemlocks are always really fun and they sell out pretty quickly on Mr. Maple. Pendula is one that, it just makes a really awesome shape with those twists and curves on it, a little contorted shape for a hemlock. adds a really cool evergreen interest out there. Give it some protection from the hot afternoon sun, but this is always a cool plant to add to your garden.
Looks great in the patio planter or in the ground. You can use this one in a lot of places. Hemlocks can handle a little bit more shade than a lot of other conifers, so if you want to play with it in a container, it's a great way to find the perfect spot for this one. It is more of a shade-tolerant conifer than many, so oftentimes this can handle a little bit more shade. I don't think you want to put them in extreme shade conditions, but a little bit of shade for this one really does well.
Are we going to talk about this next one, or are we just going to let it sell out? Acer palmatum Kristen Starr.
Guys, this is a showstopper of a plant. It's one, you know, we offered it first here. We've got it out to other nurseries, so it's starting to get popular all around. You know, it lights up. I've already been enjoying the spring display photos from people like Jay Yorch and customers that have got this one and have it in their landscape. Normally when people have this one, it's a favorite. People don't have Kristen Starr in their garden and it not turned into one of their favorite plants. I like to sell this one as a more durable version of a Kane. A Kane, I normally give up on it. We might do a few here and there, but it's a bit more of a wimp. Kristen Starr is not a wimp. It's a great grower. It's a compact, dense form with amazing, intense oranges in the spring. You can get some color that rivals, I mean, anything I've ever seen. It has that almost intense orange at first, fading to a light yellow, and a lovely mid-sized tree. We got to get down to Bill and Kristen Taylor's and do a walkthrough at their garden, and maybe we'll do a full cultivar highlight on their original seedling of Kristen Starr.
Yeah, like as Matt mentioned, it was found by Bill Taylor, named after his wife, Kristen, down in Spartanburg, South Carolina. It's growing in full sun down there in that location, and it's just tighter, denser, compact. And this plant is spectacular. When we talk about those spring colors,
right,
think of this as a flowering shrub. I mean, when this is in its spring color, it's amazing. Midsummer, it still has some really nice color to it as well, some good fall color. But to me, this is one of the very best of those spring interest Japanese maples.
It tends to be more shorter and more multi-stemmed than many other trees. I think this is a perfect pairing with Acer palmatum Reuben. If you've seen Reuben that we've offered plenty of times, Kristen Starr and Reuben would just be some of my favorite things. I'm going to have to put those together in a garden. I have them in a garden, but not located right beside each other. And man, it is a showstopper for the color. I would love to see bonsai done in this because of that denser overall habit. This is going to go out next to your DeSojos or any of those other high spring interest plants and just put on an amazing show.
And again, it's going to sell it quickly, so check out
Right.
fast. Next, we have Abby's Eugenes Yellow.
All right. Sometimes referred to as Eugene's Gold. Both names are popular. Now, this one is an extremely nice, compact dwarf yellow. So you can put this one in the landscape, and it's only going to get to basically 2 to 3 feet tall by 2 to 3 feet wide, even in a 10-year period. Now, some places list that one a little bit smaller even than that, but we give you kind of a conservative estimate. Still a very compact yellow conifer.
For a yellow, it's pretty amazing. Eugene's Yellow is awesome. What it does, it just stays tighter, dense, compact. You want to give it some PM shade though, because if you give this too much sun, it's so yellow it can burn. But this plant just keeps putting down that yellow on an evergreen interest. And being a more compact shape with yellow color, it's easy to pair with many Japanese maples. I mean, this plant is a plant I think many people should be using in their garden.
Right. Put this out next to your dark red, some of the blue conifers in the landscape. It's going to look amazing next to Scarlet Princess we just had on a recent 10 at 10, or any of your weeping red lace leaves, really. I mean, put this out with a Crimson Queen. It's going to look, you know, otherworldly in the color.
Now, this plant can actually go down to -40. I mean, that's crazy. That's crazy. A zone 3, I mean, this plant is extremely cold tolerant. So if you're in a colder zone, you can't grow some Japanese maples. There are definitely some cool conifers, including Eugene's Yellow or Eugene's Gold, that you can grow in your landscape.
All right, guys. There you go. Next up, we got some hot sauce for you.
Feeling hot, hot, hot.
He keeps singing in our videos. I see that sub count just ticking down, ticking down. We'll let Kate sing in our video. Maybe Brian. Well, but yeah, anyway, hot sauce, Acer Olivieranum hot sauce. If you already have a hot blonde and a hot tamale, you got to put some hot sauce with it. It's part of our Heat Seeker series. We love rare and unusual plants. We love giving regular Japanese maple superpowers. That's what we call it when we get hybrids going on of Acer Olivieranum with palmatum. Now, this was a selection made by Yano-san. So the great Yano of many, you've probably seen his books out there. He has World Maple Park in Japan, and this was actually his selection. And Yano-san told us if we were going to sell it in the United States to put an official real name on it. So we're calling this hybrid Hot Sauce. It's highly sought after. It could become the industry standard for high heat areas, to be honest with you, for red uprights. It has superior traits to many Japanese maples because that Acer oleiferarum influence makes it super durable.
Yeah, and for a red, I don't know if there's going to be a red that can beat it, but this is such an awesome plant because it's an Acer oleiferarum X palmatum. And I mean, it was amazing when we got to go visit Masayoshi Yano at World Maple Park.
Right.
And then he let us collect off the same oleiferarum that threw this plant. And that's where hot wing or hot chicken came from.
Right.
So, so cool, really awesome. But this plant is really going to be a red Japanese maple hybrid with an oleiferarum that'll do well for a lot of people in the heat of the South.
Guys, it holds its color extremely well because of that durability. That Chinese maple Acer oleiferarum is tough as nails. We love developing plants that have both palmatum traits, so all the interesting things with Acer oleiferarum durability. And that's exactly what we have here in Hot Sauce. I think it's going to become one of the new industry standards. This one is a little slower growing than the Hot Blonde. Hot Blonde tends to put over 1.5 foot of growth a year, where this one tends to be right at about 1 foot of growth a year. Still an excellent one at getting out there. You know, you compare it to, I would say much faster than even Emperor One or Fire Glow. So still above the average growth rate for most red uprights, but a little bit slower than the Hot Blonde.
Yep. Guys, next we have Absyntha Silverwork.
Guys, this thing's cool. This is a very compact Korean fir named in Germany for having a tight, compact ball-like shape. And it is a really nice, you know, small green conifer that's going to be excellent in the patio planter, the railroad garden. I know these are very popular for railroad gardening, and just tight and compact overall.
If you love miniature conifers, you're going to love Silverwork. I mean, it's got a little bit of silver to the underside. Often that silver means silver, and that's because of that silver on the backside of the foliage. I mean, this thing is extremely tight, really slow growing, great for those small conifer beds, great for little small fairy gardens like Matt was talking about. This is a really tight, dense conifer. Zone 5 is going to do well for a lot of people.
Yeah, so these are going to work zones 5 through zone 8 and just make that perfect little ball shape. It's a fun conifer for any landscape. It's going to pair great with your smaller Japanese maples. And who doesn't want a dwarf conifer garden? Be on the outlook for my top 5 dwarf conifer video. That one's coming up soon if it hadn't already aired.
Guys, coming back in stock just in time for spring, Acer Palmatum Strawberry Spring.
Love Strawberry Spring. This thing is super colorful. You know, fan favorite for sure. It's another Talon Buchholz introduction that just really goes out there and puts on an amazing display.
Now, for spring color, this one puts on some of the best strawberry pinks of any of the Japanese maples. It's one of my favorite of the New Ghost series. And it goes from that strawberry pink to like a faded cream. And for the color, it's hard to beat Strawberry Spring what it does in the landscape.
Guys, I love Strawberry Spring. It's a great display, especially in the spring. I do like when it fades a little bit midsummer and you're still getting some of that creamier undertone. It brings a lot to the table. It has a lot of like what you love about peaches and cream, but in a different shade. I think it's only going to grow in popularity. It's one we've done a lot of here. We got to evaluate it early on for Talon Buchholz. And it's one, Talon likes to say with the New Ghost and the newer ones, he lets the market sort it out. It's definitely one that the market has liked because every time we put this one back, it sells out. So don't wait on Strawberry Spring, always a showstopper.
I remember when I was talking on the phone with Talon and he said, man, I've got this one that just has this amazing color, amazing spring color. And when we actually got this plant in the mail from him, I was ecstatic. I mean, this is one of the plants
he sent a gift. I remember that little box opened up. Mom called us and said, hey, there's a tree on the front porch. Sent to our parents' house, went over there and opened that bad boy up. And Tim and I were high-fiving that we had a Strawberry Spring to propagate from and to get to grow it early on. Really was really fun to get to evaluate some of these early. And it hadn't disappointed. It's lived up to all the hype. It's one that everybody's searching for with that New Ghost series. It's one of the more popular New Ghost ones.
I knew it was going to be good because Talon had so many of these New Ghosts coming in. But this and Celebration were the only ones that he hyped.
He really hyped them himself.
He hyped them.
Yeah.
And it was crazy because I remember In some of his notes, Guy Melot of France had told him that those two were his favorite as well.
That's good company. If Talonbuck Holtz and Guy Melot of Mellow Bonsai is saying that, pretty good company.
Yeah, so it definitely has some good color. We love this plant. You're going to love it too.
All right, guys, next up on the table, we've got Acer japonicum Taki nogawa.
What, a full moon maple? Yes, we're bringing some more full moon maples to the 10 at 10. Taki nogawa's back in stock. And this is a really good Japanese maple with a good medium-sized Acer japonicum leaf.
Yeah, I love this fall color. I mean, I've had reds, yellows, and oranges, as you know. The japonicums really light up the show. This one I've had some exceptional reds on. Just a great mid-sized leaf. Not your largest leaf japonicum, kind of right in the middle, but a showstopper. Definitely check out our video we did on moving my large Taki nogawa in the garden to the backyard. We'll have to do some shoots with that one now when it leaves out.
Now, this is a plant that japonicums are amazing. If you love japonicums, check out our series we've done on japonicums. We go through and discuss a lot of different Acer japonicum selections. And Taki nogawa is one of those ones that really shines out there in the garden. Again, Matt's got one in his garden.
Yeah.
We've got 1,400 different cultivars, and it deserves a place in Matt's garden. I mean, the japonicums, there's so many things to love about the Acer japonicums. One, everything's bigger on the japonicums. The leaves are bigger than the palmatums. The flowers in the springtime, when a mature plant, often give you an added spring interest. But the fall color is exceptional. And the japonicums often last longer in fall color than some of the palmatums. Mm-hmm. So if you're looking for a fall colored Japanese maple, the japonicums are spectacular.
These are just starting to leaf out this spring. They're going to put on a ton of new growth. And they really even hadn't hit the tassel flowers yet. These will get so interesting with that leaf foliage to the flowering content. This one has a leaf that can often have a little bit of that malting. A lot of the japonicums can have a little bit of that blushing on them in the spring. It's not uncommon for this one to have some faint hints of orange and red in it. Really a showstopper for the japonicums.
Yeah, I mean, the japonicums are spectacular. And another plant that's pretty spectacular is this plant right here. We're talking about Suga orientalis Van Huey Smith.
Guys, I love this plant. It's an employee favorite. These tend to get snatched up in person because that color on them is so interesting. I love that faint green to light yellow it gets on the tipping. We have only some of the best variegated ones of these. These are extremely variegated, and they really bring it. I mean, it's another Thuya that's going to light up the show.
Who loves variegation? Me. Who loves yellow? Me as well. I mean, this plant just keeps putting lots of awesome color on this dark green variegation. This is a plant that's going to rock it out, give you some good color, and it's going to be a plant that adds that extra spark of interest out in the landscape. I mean, this makes that very Thuga shape, that very conical shape, but with added flair. And that's what I love doing in the garden, is adding that extra flair in the garden that makes your garden extra special.
If Tim worked at Tchotchkes, they would say, Tim, you got a lot of flair.
Well, we appreciate you watching today's 10 at 10. We got a great collection of these, of plants getting listed today. They're going to sell out fast. It's getting close to 10 a.m.
Yeah, we better get this on the way. These trees are going to sell out pretty quick. We might just go ahead and get this one on the way. Again, this is our 10 at 10 for March 28th of 2023. Guys, if you're watching this video a year later, some of these may be slightly larger or slightly smaller, but this is very indicative of what we have in stock here early spring 2023. They're actually going to put on a ton of growth because they're just leafing out right now. I hope you enjoy this episode. We greatly appreciate you guys watching. We do these videos every single day here on the MrMaple Show, so there's always something new and exciting happening, and definitely sign up to be a part of that. We love seeing that sub count go up. We love seeing people participating. We're regularly hitting over 100 people in that live chat during the 10 at 10. And guys, you make it worthwhile. You make it a lot of fun to do those live chats. We greatly appreciate it.
Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Post in the comment section. We'd appreciate it. And get ready at 10 a.m. because we got some cool plants today.
These are going to sell out. Let's get them to the shipping shed.
Sounds like a plan.
Just go ahead and turn out slowly.